the Supreme Court has made a ruling that allows Trump to begin removing 500,000 immigrants from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. Justices Ketanji Brown Jackson and Sonia Sotomayor dissented in the vote. And Justice Ketanji Brown's role is coming under scrutiny this week because she was signed in with Biden's auto pen signature. David Sachs this week said that Elizabeth Warren was the one behind the auto pen signatures.
The Biden administration was doing, and let's face it, it wasn't Biden. Elizabeth Warren controlled the auto pen during that administration.
I'm hearing a lot of conflicting information about who was behind it all, but it's very clear that it wasn't Biden, and it makes all of those signatures invalid. Not only that, but if it turns out that Justice Brown's role is invalid, then it means that everything that she has done in that role is also invalid.
It's an 8-1 decision. Yep. The only person who voted against it, had a dissenting opinion in the Supreme Court, was Ketanji Brown Jackson.
That's right. So it could open a whole can of worms. RFK Jr. has announced that the HHS has removed its recommendations for COVID-19 vaccinations for pregnant women and babies. And of course, the media has just gone into overdrive trying to explain this.
Last year, the Biden administration urged healthy children to get yet another COVID shot despite the lack of any clinical data.
All I have seen is articles saying why RFK Jr. is wrong to have done this and, you know, how you should still be getting COVID vaccines for pregnant women and babies. And I just cannot believe. You must think that the people behind it all have no guilt, or they're so brainwashed that they don't realize what they're doing by recommending this to vulnerable people. And of course, there's no mention in any of these articles about how pregnant women can boost their immune systems naturally. So I'm not really seeing much actual genuine care about people's health. I'm seeing care for profit, basically. What has been described by some news outlets as the far-right extreme party in Portugal called Chega, which, you know, 30 years ago probably would have been described as like a centered, politically centered party. But now it is a far-right extremist party, and they have had a huge success in the elections this week. They've been gaining more and more seats every year for the last few years. It was assigned the second most seats in Parliament, meaning it will become the head of the parliamentary opposition to the new government. And this is just massive because when it was started in 2019 by former television football commentator Ventura, the party held a single seat in Parliament, and now it holds 60. This week, President Trump also threatened to withhold funding from California if they don't stop biological male A.B. Hernandez from participating in women's sports.
Gathered to heckle her at a recent track meet.
That's a boy! That is a biological boy!
Is that even registering as you're competing?
Honestly, no. I'm still a child. You're an adult, and for you to act like a child shows how you are as a person. And nothing I can do about people's actions, just focus on my own.
This happens alongside this week where we saw in softball, the women's team was just humiliated by the participation of a male who, you know, women just can't contend. They can't contend with it. I really thought this would be a lot easier to draw the line on this one once Trump came into office, but surprisingly, it's still kind of a battle going ahead with that. This week, we also saw Jake Tapper, of all people, criticizing the Democratic Party. He has admitted that the Democrat Party is the party of hate and division.
I went on a left-leaning podcast that shall remain nameless, and we were talking about my kids, because I think they were both people without kids. And they asked me about my son, and I said he was, you know, he's a football player and he wants to be a policeman. And their joke was about my 15-year-old son, oh, how does he feel about minorities? Like the idea that he wants to be a policeman, therefore he's racist, my son. And like, you know, that was the big laugh. And then I got dragged into comments and all that stuff. And I thought to myself, this is why you fuckers are losing elections.
100%.
Like my football playing son, who has no political views. He's 15. He thinks about World War II and gaming and playing linebacker. That's his world. You're deciding he's a racist because he wants to be a cop. And why does he want to be a cop? He wants to be a cop because he wants to help people. and he thinks that's the best way he can help people. And that's how the Democratic Party talks to men, not just white men, but men. And I get the idea that they thought Tim Walz could what's the term he used, code switch or something. He thought that he could translate the Democratic Party values because he hunts and fishes and owns a gun and was in the army and drinks a beer. I mean, at least there was an attempt, but I find it just insane.
Obviously nowadays we don't know if reporters like him are just saying what they need to say to survive. But what do you think about what he had to say? I just wanted to stop for a second and say thank you so much to Timothy Kevin Whiteman for subscribing to my Buy Me a Coffee membership, sending best wishes to North Carolina, and thank you to another Kevin Causey, for your donation to, he said, I sleep better knowing that you're out there. I'm so glad if I'm helping people to sleep better. That means so much to me. Thank you very much, guys. We had a fair bit of drama this week with Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, and I have to say it's getting weird. Even I'm finding it weird at this point.
You were on with Maria a few weeks ago, and you said this.
What we can do now is continue to put out the documents and the information that these people withheld from the American public. You're about to see a wave of transparency.
What do you mean?
Just give us about a week or two.
All right, we're almost at 2 weeks. So this is about Crossfire Hurricane. You just talked about that, all that you've been learning. Can you give us a little of that wave of transparency?
My wife is struggling. I'm not a victim. I'm not Jim Comey. It's fine. I did this, and I'm proud I did it. But if you think we're there for tea and crumpets, well, I mean, Kash is there all day. We share it. Our offices are linked. He turns on the faucet. I hear it. He's there he gets in at like 6 o'clock in the morning. He doesn't leave till 7 at night. I'm in there at 7:30 in the morning. He uses the gym. I work out in my apartment. But I stare at these four walls all day in D.C., by myself, divorced from my wife. Not divorced, but separated, divorced. And it's hard. We love each other, and it's hard to be apart.
But you're doing some great work. You're straightening out the FBI. You're moving buildings.
You guys know I have been very patient with the whole thing and very supportive of them and open-minded about the whole thing, and this I just found weird at this point. I actually am going to do a separate video on this, and I'm not sure if you guys want to hear about it or not. You can let me know, but I just personally feel like there's a lot I need to say about it, so I'll be doing that in the coming week. This was pretty crazy, and it's something that you need to know about. Concerns have arisen this week over a provision in Trump's legislation that allegedly allows for secret medical experimentation on individuals.
This type of stuff is going to happen, and then this part's going to need to be repealed. There needs to be an executive order blocking it, saying that they can do medical experiments on you in any hospital without you even knowing it. So this is beyond bullying you into doing it or not giving you full informed consent. This is not even telling you.
This has sparked a lot of concern for people, and unfortunately with these big bills, as we've talked about before, things get hidden in them that really just don't do anything good for the public. So luckily it's been brought to the attention of everybody now, so hopefully it's not going to be making its way any further through the process, but something that we need to keep an eye on. This week Elon Musk also started the week by expressing disappointment over the DOGE cuts because nothing really came of them. Congress didn't put these cuts to the floor, and we've seen in recent weeks Elon Musk expressing on the news that he was expecting arrests to come very soon, and then they clearly didn't come either. So he did seem to be disappointed, and it wasn't just him. There were a lot of people on social media expressing upset because this was the most popular agenda of Trump's campaign. Representative Anna Paulina Luna called this out, and Ron DeSantis.
$1 trillion deficit is a tax on you. It works its way through the economy. There's no free lunch, and that's what ends up happening. And it's a little frustrating. Elon Musk went into this DOGE effort. He was getting lampooned. They're firebombing his Tesla dealerships, media smearing him relentlessly. His businesses suffered, all this stuff because he basically said, look, we can't keep doing this, and we need to moderate and reduce the amount of money that the federal government is spending. And yet, we have a Republican Congress, and to this day, we're in the end of May, past Memorial Day, and not 1 cent in DOGE cuts have been implemented by the Congress.
So we're getting a lot of traction on that, and based on what's happened in the past, if enough people are speaking up about something and are upset about something, it usually gets to Trump and he usually starts putting the pressure on. But it is down to the public to put the pressure on Congress, put the pressure on, speak out about it on social media, and make sure that it happens. It'll be very interesting to see how this plays out in the next few months. Are we going to see the DOGE cuts solidified, or is it just going to kind of pass with the wind? Elon Musk, at the very least, he brought attention to the public about the insane way that the government was spending money. And, you know, that really did have an impact on everybody, no doubt. It's actually had impact across the globe, because I have seen videos of people in Ireland and in Europe doing exactly the same thing, looking into what the government is spending money on and realizing that all of this money is going to NGOs, etc., in a way that allows for money laundering and fraud to take place. He has actually awakened people across the globe to the kind of things that are going on, and that cannot be put back into a box. On top of that, there seems to be a bit of a mentality shift, because Elon Musk also mentioned the fact that he thinks the only way to deal with the deficit now is actually to increase the income rather than trying to decrease the outgoings so much. And Trump has said in the last week he has brought trillions into the US government within a couple of hours, so you can kind of understand where that thinking comes from.
We're up to close to $8 trillion, I think I can say.
Breaking news, Apple announced it's going to work with Foxconn to build a server factory in Texas by 2026.
The company says it is now planning to invest $500 billion in the U.S. economy.
The CEO of SoftBank pledging to invest $100 billion in the U.S. over the next 4 years.
Project Stargate. It's a joint venture between SoftBank, Oracle, and OpenAI, and they're going to create a data center that will eventually be expanded to other states.
This is the latest pledge from a foreign business leader promising to spend big in the U.S. as a result of Trump's election victory.
Founder of the property development company DeMac Properties is pledging the money.
President Trump announcing $100 billion investment from Taiwan Semiconductor, bringing the company's total American investments to $165 billion.
All of the computer chip companies are coming in at levels that nobody's ever seen before.
NVIDIA says it will invest hundreds of billions of dollars.
Furniture maker Prepack are shifting their operations from Canada to North Carolina.
Johnson & Johnson says it will invest more than $55 billion in the U.S. over the next 4 years.
And the auto companies are coming in. I could name 8 right now already, auto plants that are either starting or about ready to start construction.
Hyundai announced a $20 billion investment.
With your leadership, Mr. President, Hyundai Motor Group is proud to be a stronger partner in America's industrial future.
This is the automobile industry, and now those plants largely have stopped and they're moving them to our country.
Honda is producing its next generation Civic Hybrid in Indiana instead of Mexico.
GE Aerospace announcing a nearly $1 billion investment into American manufacturing.
Eli Lilly announcing plans to expand its manufacturing here in the United States.
$27 billion additional spend, bringing our total to more than $50 billion.
The money's rolling in, and this is in the past 60 some odd days, Charles.
And these are deep-pocketed folks who want to have a relationship, and it's just smart moves.
We are CMA CGM, one of the leaders in shipping and logistics around the world. Today, we are investing $20 billion.
Wisconsin-based Clarios is putting up $6 billion to expand its American operation.
Bringing a lot of investment back into the United States of America. We'll be well over $10 trillion. I want to thank Your Highness for helping with that number.
And that is absolutely incredible when you think about it, like trillions. The only thing I will say is there's a difference between pledges and actually receiving the money. So I'll be happy about it once I actually see that money in. But for now, I think it's just pledges. He's also been continuing to try to push for peace between Russia and Ukraine, but that has been a very rocky slope. I started this week by hearing about Zelensky's assassination attempt on Putin's life, drones attacking his plane.
В период времени, когда президент работал в Курской области, противник начал беспрецедентную атаку с беспилотно-летательными аппаратами.
Then next thing I heard about Russia making attacks against Ukraine. That was then followed by Trump.
Not happy with what Putin's doing. He's killing a lot of people, and I don't know what the hell happened to Putin. I've known him a long time, always gotten along with him, but he's sending rockets into cities and killing people, and I don't like it at all.
It really came across like Trump hadn't heard about the assassination attempt on Putin's life.
Follow up on that, a Russian commander reportedly said that Putin was almost caught in the middle of a drone attack from Ukraine. So do you have any...
I haven't heard that, but maybe that would be a reason. I don't know, but I have not heard that.
But it does make me question who was the barrier, who is blocking information reaching Trump, because I had heard about the assassination attempt, but Trump didn't seem to, and he should definitely have as much information as regular everyday people on the internet have. And more updates on Letitia James. It's looking like she may lose her law license. She spent $41,807 of taxpayer money flying around. And more justice this week. Pam Bondi posted about the American Bar Association, saying that it's lost its way. We do not believe that it serves as a fair arbiter of judicial nominees. While the ABA is free to comment on judicial nominations along with other activist organizations, there is no justification for treating the ABA differently from such other activist organizations. And Elon Musk replied, the bar can't pass the bar anymore. Another shocking thing that I thought was really important for you guys to be aware of is a report has revealed this week that 52% of internet traffic now comes from bots rather than real people. That is a really significant number. Elon Musk shared this as well, and he said how many real people are still on the internet. And oftentimes they're trying to fuel drama with social media posts. So be aware that when you're looking at social media, if you're getting worked up over something, if you're getting into an argument with someone online, they might not even be real. And on the topic of AI, it's also come out this week that some supermarkets use AI for dynamic pricing.
I was recently made aware of how much the grocery industry is fucking spying on us. And I gotta be honest, I didn't believe it when I first heard it. Like, I was talking to a buddy about it and he was like, no, seriously, they're spying on us. So I did some research into it and he was 100% right. Like, it's fucking wild. Like, a great example of this is a store I'd never shopped at called Kroger. And again, I haven't not shopped at Kroger because I hate them or anything. I just never had one in my area. But apparently they have like alternative profit divisions that are solely focused on monetizing our personal information, like monetizing all the customer data they've actually taken in. And wildly enough, they've made more than $1 billion from this. A grocery store made $1 billion from monetizing your information. Like, this is a store that profits like $3.5 billion a year. And 1/3 of that comes from monetizing our information. And another thing I learned was, like, you know those little digital price things? Like, instead of having the paper one, they got a digital one. Did you know that's there so they can like change the prices in real time based upon the traffic patterns in the store? Like, they will change it in real time if more people are in the store. Like, that's so fucked up, I almost kind of respect it. And even wilder, Kroger has this thing called an edge shelf, which is developed with Microsoft, which will actually facially recognize you, determine your like age and gender and things like that, and then adjust prices based upon what the AI thinks you'd be willing to pay for something. Like, that's fucking nuts. Like, I expected to see this type of technology in like CIA facilities or embassies, but in a grocery store? Look, I gotta be real. I'm never going in a Kroger. Like, I probably was never going to because I got Publix. But yeah, I'm avoiding Kroger like the plague now.
Supermarkets are reportedly using AI to charge different prices to different customers based on calculated willingness to pay. I really don't know how you calculate that, and I'm wondering, how do I make myself look like I'm willing to pay less? And I've seen a few videos of this week where Ukrainians are reportedly rising up against President Zelensky, resisting soldiers attempting to forcibly conscript individuals into the military. It's some of the most heartbreaking stuff that I've seen. I've talked about this before, where people are being forcibly put into vans and taken away, essentially to die. And war is, you know, such a tragic, horrible thing, and I just cannot explain to you how incredible it's been to see videos of people fighting back. And this is the thing, is we can fight back against anything. It just takes people's willingness and working together, willing to fight something. And they're actually successfully fighting some of these soldiers off now as groups. And something similar has been happening in Ireland, where there's been more and more protests against the mass immigration. We're actually seeing people destroying the construction sites that they're building. And I know that that could sound crazy to, to actually destroy property like that. But what is happening is so insane, where they're just building these huge migrant camps, just houses, rows and rows of houses for immigrants to come and live in. And there's a massive housing crisis going on in Ireland, where Irish people are not entitled to those houses. They're not entitled to apply for those houses. The immigrants will be placed there. I hope this was informative for you guys. If there was anything important that you heard about this week, please do share it in the comments. I know a lot of you guys are really well informed on this stuff, and we need to help each other stay in the know. Thank you guys so much again for watching. I'll see you guys next time.